Good evening and welcome to Up South. I come to you live from Hyderabad today, a city which has been plastered with Rahul Gandhi's posters. That's because he was to visit the city on his way to Adilabad in Telangana. But at the last moment, he decided to change his travel plan and flew to Nanded, from where he's going to drive a distance of 125 kilometers to Nirmal. And that's where tomorrow he's going to undertake a 15-kilometer long Padayatra and meet the families of 5 farmers who committed suicide in the last 10 months ever since Telangana came into existence. Telangana is a state that records huge farm distress, and Rahul Gandhi's attempt and the Congress attempt is to reach out to these farmers. The Telangana Rashtra Samiti, which is a ruling party here, believes that Rahul Gandhi is only exhibiting a lot of political hypocrisy.
The statue of Rajiv Gandhi in the heart of Hyderabad getting cleaned ahead of his son Rahul Gandhi's visit to Telangana. The Congress Vice President will undertake a 15-kilometer long Padayatra through 4 mandals of Adilabad district on Friday to console families of 5 farmers who committed suicide since Telangana state came into existence in June last year. Among them will be the family of Bondla Linganna in Lakshman Chanda Mandal. 37-year-old Linganna committed suicide in October last year, having incurred a debt of 3 lakh rupees. His crop of soya bean and maize had failed. The Congress that lost the elections last year despite granting statehood to Telangana believes the Padayatra will help it take the first step towards rebuilding the party in the state.
Everybody does politics. Politics for good and betterment of the common people is definitely healthy. Why do we do politics? Why Rahul Gandhi ji is making farmers issue? Why we want to make union government and the state government consent to open their eyes to the problems of the people, to the problems of the farmers basically.
The visit has had its effect even before Rahul Gandhi set foot in Adilabad. District Minister Indra Karan Reddy handed over a cheque of 1 lakh rupees on the government's behalf and 60,000 rupees from his pocket to Linganna's family.
అక్కడ హైదరాబాద్లో ఈ రాహుల్ గాంధీ ప్రోగ్రామ్కు టెండర్ పెట్టిన వాళ్ళు గాంధీ భవన్లో ఆ గాంధీ భవన్లో టెండర్ పెడితే నేను అత్యధికంగా డబ్బు ఖర్చు పెట్టి రాహుల్ గాంధీ దింపుకుంటా అని చెప్పి నిర్మల ప్రోగ్రామ్ పెట్టింది.
Farmer activists and opposition parties claim that over 900 farmers have killed themselves in Telangana since June last year, a number the TRS government is unwilling to concede. But Rahul Gandhi's sudden sympathy and love for farmers also reeks of hypocrisy, because the agrarian crisis was as acute during the 10 years of Congress rule in United Andhra Pradesh. In Hyderabad, T.S. Sudhir for Headlines Today. Now, the BJP is simply not amused. It put out an exhibition where it actually reeled out statistics which showed that in United Andhra Pradesh between 2004 and 2013, when the Congress was in power both in Hyderabad and in New Delhi, as many as 23,000 farmers had killed themselves in United Andhra Pradesh. Basically to prove the point that Rahul Gandhi is essentially conveying selective amnesia when it comes to the big issue of agrarian crisis, especially in Telangana. Joining me now for a perspective is well-known agriculture scientist Dr. G.V. Ramanjanelu. Dr. Ramanjanelu, unofficially there have been a large number of farmer suicides in Telangana since June last year. Over 900 is the number. But do you sense a reluctance on part of the state government to accept this and concede the crisis in Telangana?
To concede that there is this huge crisis.
For the last 20 years, we are seeing that the consecutive governments are in a denial mode, saying there are no suicides, and whatever suicides are happening are not because of the agrarian crisis. More than 38,800 farmer suicides are reported in the last 20 years, both in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And in that only 6,000 are identified by the government as genuine farmer suicide. So this denial mode is continuing, and the current government, the current party in power in Telangana, which was fighting for the cause, saying all of the farmer suicides are because of the agrarian crisis, today after coming to power they are in a denial mode. I think this must change, and then they should accept that there is a problem, then only they can find solution. And in the last so many years, if you look at the single women in rural areas are increasing. the only breadwinner in the family after they dies. They don't have income sources for them, and children are at the most risk we are seeing in the villages because they discontinue their education and there is no support provided from the government side. I think this is a serious crisis in the rural areas.
Right, Dr. Ramanjanilu, now in both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, you have a 13-point criteria which has been followed for many years, according to which the farmer's family actually gets compensation, because that the 13-point criteria is used to find out whether he committed suicide only because of agrarian crisis. Do you think that's one of the root cause of the problems?
That he has actually come.
Yes, the government of Andhra Pradesh has come up, the earlier government of Andhra Pradesh has come up with GO 421, which specifies 13 criteria based on which a farmer's suicide will be identified as a genuine farmer suicide. And in that, if you look at all the criteria, they're more to remove the case rather than in the case. I think that's something which is happening. They need to report it immediately, and then if there is any family distress, either because of a marriage or because of a health issue or because of a marriage in the family, they're denying that it is because of the agrarian crisis. And as a result, the local officers, there is also pressure on the local officers to deny as many cases as possible so that the compensation paid would be lower, and also the burden on the government to accept that there is a crisis will be lower.
Now, money lenders still remain the major source of people who lend money to these farmers. Has that situation actually changed ever since Telangana came into existence? Because are nationalized banks actually able to give money to these farmers?
In the last 1 year, actually, the situation has become worse. In Telangana, there are around 15 lakh tenant farmers who are cultivating land on tenancy, but their access to loans is very low. 2013-14 government has given around 11,000 farmers, in these 15 lakhs only 11,000 farmers were given loan. Last year probably that is much lesser because of the loan waiver issue coming into picture. Earlier at least other farmers used to get loan. The last year even the regular farmers also didn't get loan because of the delay because of the loan waiver scheme. So last year's loan access was very, very low. As a result, most of the farmers have taken loan on a very high interest rates ranging up to 10% per month. 10% per month is the rate many farmers have paid. And in that situation, when there was a 2 times crop failure, the crisis have mounted.
How do you see?
Right. Dr. Ramanjanilu, just stay on with us. We will cut across to Ashar Khan, my colleague, who is in fact en route from Hyderabad to Nirmal at this point in time. Ashar, first thing, Rahul Gandhi changing his plan, not coming to Hyderabad, deciding to go via Nanded to Nirmal. What really caused this change of plan at the very last minutes? Because there was a lot of excitement building up here about his roadshow in Hyderabad, of course, which would have also inconvenienced a lot of Hyderabadis, derailed Hyderabad's evening traffic completely. What caused this change of plan at the last minute?
Well, what we've been given to understand is that he thought that from Nanded it is easier to reach Nirmal because it's closer compared to Hyderabad. So that is why it was a last minute change in plan which happened. In fact, till today morning, the entire plan was that he will come in a commercial flight to Hyderabad and from here drive to Nirmal. But now that plan has been changed.
Right. Ashar, you have covered Rahul Gandhi's visits, especially the last one to Maharashtra. Before that, he went to Punjab. What kind of an impact do you see it having for the Congress, for Rahul Gandhi's own brand equity, especially when he actually spends time among farmers in different states? What kind of an impact it's having on the ground?
Well, we'll have to look at it in perspective. If you see that after his sabbatical of 56 days, Rahul was conspicuous by his absence. After that, at the macro picture, the Congress party has decided that they will go hammer and tongs as far as the issue of farmers are concerned. Now, there are several issues as far as farmer issues are concerned. They include MSP, fertilizers, the delivery of fertilizers, also farmer suicides, crop failure because of untimely rains and hailstorms. So, at a macro level, the Congress party is portraying identifying its vice president as somebody who's championing the cause of the downtrodden, of the Mazdoor and the Kisan. That is what the Congress party has termed it. So at a macro level, we are seeing that the Congress vice president is visible at mandis where they say that procurement is not taking place. He's visited, will be his second visit to farmers who've committed suicide. So clearly at a macro level, Rahul Gandhi is moving around, being seen in good photo opportunities, championing the cause of farmers and Kisans.
Right, a good photo opportunity as you put it. Ashar Khan, thanks a lot. We will be continuing to track the Rahul Gandhi Padyatra in Nirmal in Adilabad district closely with you on Up South tomorrow as well. Thanks a lot for joining us. Dr. Ramanjanelu, you heard my colleague Ashar Khan out there. He calls it a good photo opportunity for Rahul Gandhi, and the Congress in Telangana of course also looks at it as a good opportunity to help its own political fortunes, which took a nosedive in Telangana last year. Now, as someone who works closely with farmers, how do you look at this initiative by Rahul Gandhi as far as the farmers are concerned?
This is continuation of the political dramas the political parties are playing, because Rahul Gandhi has visited several villages in Vidarbha when Congress party was in power. He visited one of the villages where we are working. It is Dorli in Vidarbha, Wardha, which the village was put for sale in 2005, and after we started working, many of the farmers came back to farming, and then they could repay their loans because they could farm into a producer company, and also they could reduce their cost of cultivation. We had a discussion with Rahul Gandhi, all the farmers had a discussion with Rahul Gandhi and then shared their experiences and asked similar models should be replicated. And when we met him in his office, he denied, he never wanted to take that models forward. So all this is like every political party is trying to use the opportunity for their political mileage rather than trying to understand the problem or the solutions.
Right, Dr. G.V. Ramanjanelu, thanks a lot for giving that perspective on this extremely important issue of agrarian crisis in Telangana, and we'll continue to track the Rahul Gandhi Padyatra in Telangana very, very closely here on Headlines Today. News now from Tamil Nadu. The Jayalalitha verdict, of course, everyone has been talking about the disproportionate assets and the fact that she was acquitted by the Karnataka High Court. But now another explosive piece of information has come from the same Jayalalitha verdict. Page number 133 actually points to the fact that there are as many as 7 children between the age of 10 and 15, 5 girls and 2 boys who were actually employed at Jayalalitha's Poise Garden residence, and they were being paid a paltry amount of 200 rupees per month. Yes, that is being recorded by Justice C.R. Kumaraswamy of the Karnataka High Court on the 11th of May when he delivered that verdict at the Karnataka High Court in Bengaluru on Monday. Joining me now from Chennai is Srisha Reddy, my colleague. Srisha, it's pretty shocking that the then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha, was actually using child labor at her Poise Garden residence. Now, what are the voices that you are picking up from child rights activists who are pretty horrified at this disclosure which has been made in that 900-odd page verdict?
Well, exactly, Sudhir, because, during the year 1991 and 1996, Jayalalitha had actually employed at least 7 children, 5 girls and 2 boys in her Poise Garden residence, and only paying 200 rupees. There is a meager amount to all these 7 children. And according to child rights activists, this can be amounted to violation of 1986 Prevention of Child Labour and Regulation Act. Not just that, and being a government servant, one cannot actually indulge in such activities. And if a Chief Minister of the state is involved in such activities, then what kind of message is the Chief Minister sending to the larger public is a question that's been raised by the child rights activists, Sudhir.
Right. In fact, this also invites a fine of 10,000 to 20,000 rupees and an imprisonment of at least 3 months. Wonder why Justice Kumaraswamy actually did not point this out more specifically, more clearly in that 900-page verdict. Srisha Reddy, thanks a lot for joining us on Up South. Time for a break. After the break, we speak to an IAS officer from Karnataka who brands an IAS mafia in Karnataka and says 70% of IAS officers in Karnataka are corrupt.